And then it's the whole thing is like, I hear people saying shit. He woke them up basically. So all this shit has been happening for 8+ years, in terms of like deportations and war and all of this shit through Obama
and the United States,
whistleblower thing,
right, and the United States being taken advantage of economically from everybody around the world.
Attacking of the press, which Obama did on a daily basis.
Hillary Clinton didn't allow the press corps at all on her campaign tour.
Exactly,
didn't allow them in.
Didn't get any.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but I look at Trump. Now let's assume everything that Trump is doing is on the level.
I had more to say. Okay.
Let's not get to it. But I know what we'll get there.
Yeah.
But imagine that way everything Trump is doing is exactly as you see it. Okay, this evil mastermind. But what's happening as a result of that, as you were saying, people are waking up, right? People are coming to an agreement. I was saying, my mom. She's like, oh, I hate this. That he's enabling all these people to come out of the woodwork and be assholes, right?
Would you
I said,
rather
but I said, but. That's right, and that's exactly what I told her. I said, you know what they were doing before? Hiding in their basements, plotting to kill people. I was like, now they're on the surface. So yeah, it's terrible. When you have a wound and it gets infected, the only way to get it healed is for pus to come out and grossness to happen on your wound. I was like, so that's all that's happening.
That's how you treat it.
As a result of Trump, the wound is being squeezed and all of this grossness is coming out to the surface where we can see it and deal with it. I was like, so at least that's happening, right? At least like he pulls out of the Paris Accords. On the surface, that seems like a bad thing. But his reasoning was correct, and Bernie had the same reasoning. We're getting ripped off. We're paying the lion's share of this money. We're getting none of it back. We're paying for China to upgrade its shit.
It's not doing anything.
Right, and like, they're like, well, Syria's on board with the peace agreement, with the Paris Accords, right? It's like, yeah, because they're going to get $3 billion for it. They're like, well, look at China, all the stuff China's doing with our money. I was like, so he was right to pull out of that. Bernie would have done the same thing. He said he was going to do it. Pull out of that thing and say, okay, let's renegotiate this deal. So the United States isn't shouldering the lion's share of the burden here. Every country got to pay for it, right? Everybody's got to pay for it. And people, but that's not the way they spin the media, right? So everybody's like lapping up all this bullshit. And Trump knows it. He comes out and says, maybe I could be president for life someday, right? Just to throw the treat out there, and all little kitty cats are jumping on that shit. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, Trump. I have a friend that does that all the time. Did you see what he said today? I'm like, no, because I don't pay fucking attention to what he's saying. I don't care. It's what he does that
I care what they do. Yes.
Right. It's like, he's like, well, he's in collusion with the Russians. I'm like, well, maybe he's trying to keep us from going to war with them.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you do. You make treaties.
Maybe we could try that this time.
And I saw a headline yesterday from a liberal thing. Why use back channels when you can just walk right up to the front door? Putin's. I'm like, so what you're saying then, liberal press, is that using back channels behind the backs of the public is okay. Like, that's how they should do it, right? He shouldn't go up to Putin's front door and say, hey, let's talk, or hey, let's work this out, or hey, I'll help you with these sanctions if you shoulder some of the burden in Syria.
Oh my gosh, did you see, like, that reminds me of the Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow went crazy. Well,
you mean the liberal Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah, she is insane. But she's doing her job, and she's getting paid very well.
She's getting her ratings to her network.
Yeah, $30,000 a day to say this shit. Anyway, she was saying how no president has ever met with Kim Jong-un. And, maybe this should mean something. Maybe you shouldn't go. Maybe that means you're putting yourself at risk, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, maybe that means nobody's actually given a shit enough to try and talk peacefully with somebody.
Because he's an easy villain to exploit over there.
Exactly.
And I think that calling his bluff all these times with his nukes and these missiles and whatever he's got over there has really, worn him down. Because he doesn't have all this stuff. His country's not ready to go to war. His country isn't going to nuke anybody. Because if he nukes somebody, they're going to fucking kick the shit out of him. Yeah. And I think that above all, he wants to stay in control of his country. Even if it means that he has to capitulate a little bit and be like, okay, fine, bring the South Koreans in here.
And it's embarrassing probably for him to have South Korea and North Korea talking behind his back.
Right, and China and Japan and the United States and Europe, and everybody thinks he's an asshole.
Oh my gosh.
And it's why not forge an alliance with those guys? Why not open them up to China's market and stop China from exploiting everybody else and just work with the North Koreans and the South Koreans.
Dude, I think Trump is bringing Korea back together. It's pretty amazing.
It's weird. And what's funny is I paid close attention to him in his campaign because I was like, where's this guy coming from? And all the stuff he said he was going to do, he's doing it. He's doing all of it.
You gotta the wall is probably going to take a minute.
Well, the wall was just a MacGuffin, but like a distraction here, right? It's just a thing happening here.
It's a fear tactic.
It's a fear tactic, but it's also to Mexico going, look, we're serious.
Yeah.
If you don't clean up your act, and start getting your own economy working. We're not going to carry you anymore. And we'll physically block you from coming to this country if you can't get your shit together. And Mexico, I love them. I love the Mexican leaders because they're always so fiery. And it's like, he's like, oh, we're never going to bend no Trump. We're never going to pay for this shit. It's like, fine, then you descend into turmoil. We're going to build this wall so the invading armies that come and take your shit can't come take our shit. But, again, I'm not a pro-Trump guy. And what's funny is talking about this stuff with people like, oh, you must be a Trump supporter. I'm like, that's the new communist, right? That's your new commie. Yeah. Is you're a Trump supporter. I'm like, no, I'm not. I support my president.
You're either a Trump supporter or a cuck these days. Right, not really much in the middle.
Well,
or soy boy. That's a new one.
Oh, soy boy. But
I take offense. I like soy.
I like soy. I like it's not necessarily cream cheese or anything.
That brings me to like the censorship that's going on as a result of these people coming out and speaking about their ideology, which is what it is. Let's be honest. They have a different ideology than you do. They don't believe in the same kind of feminism that you do. So you want to go after them. I mean, they don't believe in fascist feminism, which is what abounds nowadays. Is like, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the new leftist mentality. Like, it's becoming so far to the left that it's going right. Yeah. Right to the right to fascism. Right. And now I have people who are on Twitter that I converse with sometimes, and I have been vocal about my disagreement with Antifa's tactics. And they just continue to see things differently because it's their side. So if it were the other side doing these maneuvers that they do, silencing the opposition all the time, throwing smoke bombs into the King's College recently, during a discussion in which the irony is they were talking about how they wanted to hear I can't remember his name. He's not a professor, is he? But the guy was talking, and Sargon was there too. Sargon of Akkad. I never know how to pronounce that. Yeah, anyway, Benjamin. He's there, Mr. Benjamin. And they're talking about the tactics of Antifa, and if they wanted to sit in on this conversation, they would obviously they would let them do that, and they would love to have a conversation with them one-on-one. And then immediately at the end, like, not even at the end because there wasn't an end, but they go in and they have the smoke bomb, they set off the alarm. The people were in the conversation, in the room at the same time. Like, there were some people who infiltrated, who were so obvious about it that, like, there were laughs in the beginning of the conversation. Like, oh, I guess these are the people. Okay, we're just supposed to ignore them now. And then they come on with their, like, bullhorns and everything, and they're like, really obviously disrupting the conversation in which we're trying to find a bridge to some kind of common ground with these people. Right. And it just shows how fascist these tactics are, and they're not doing anything to help get rid of fascists, because it's fascism versus fascism.
It's political idealism without any smarts. That's what's about Maxine Waters. Like, she is a very articulate person. She is obviously an intelligent person. She knows a lot about her job, but she's not a very smart person. She's not in control of her intelligence in that way. And so when she comes up, she just, I grew up in local politics, like city politics, and you got a lot of people who were like generational Mexican families coming where I come from. So these guys didn't have a lot of education, but they know a lot about the city, and they know a lot about politics, and how to run a meeting and shit like that. So they're able to come up and like scream and yell about, Mexica or whatever, but they come across as bullies. They don't come across as somebody you want to sit down and talk to, because they're yelling in your face all the time.
And that doesn't get anything done.
No, it does
not work. It makes them even louder. The opposition will be louder and more upset.
Yeah, because what happens when people yell at you? I know what happens when people yell at me. I shut down. I wait till them to stop yelling. I don't even listen to what they're saying.
Exactly.
They stop talking, and I'm like, okay, can you repeat all that in a normal voice? Because I didn't understand. And I wasn't listening to what you were saying, because I don't like anybody yelling at me.
I'm sorry about the airplane. Fucking airplane.
That's my ride. I'm sorry.
There's a thing happening.
He's circling till I get out.
It's Hollywood, guys.
But I think the way I look at it,
it's really loud. Let's wait for it.
Oh, it's okay. It's Hillary coming in under sniper fire.
She's like, I was supposed to bomb North Korea.
That's right. I was flying over there.
She actually was looking into nuclear proliferation. Nobody cares.
Well, I think she wanted to start a war with Russia.
Yeah, she really. Yeah. She was gonna do some shit. Don't worry.
Well, it wasn't just her.
It's gonna happen either way.
She was under orders from the progressive left to stir up shit in the Mideast and Eastern Europe. And
well, Israel is behind all of that.
Well, and Israel hates her too. I mean, they whatever. I don't want to talk about her, but my point is that liberals now are getting to exercise all of the behavior that they used to see as bad, but under the guise of altruism, right? So they have racism and the discrimination of skin color happening with Trump, and it's funny because he's orange, right? But now they can call him the orange baboon. They can call him a Cheeto. They can make fun of his skin color. It's safe to do so, right? They can make fun of, they could become the new McCarthyites, as we were saying. So instead of commies, it's Trump supporters. So they're able to exercise.
And also, when you say something bad about Antifa, you're just as bad. You're a fascist. You're a Nazi.
I know. I actually know.
Like, I've been called a Nazi sympathizer.
Well, but you're on Twitter.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
But talking to people in public, a lot of them don't support that kind of. They don't look at extremism as any kind of result, except when it comes to feminism. They're cool with that, but they're cool with calling all men scum and wanting to subjugate them. But they don't. They actually, a lot of the liberals I talk to don't believe in the Antifa antics because they all think it's staged, and I believe that. I believe a lot of it's paid promotion. A lot of it is
I think some of it's brainwashing at this point as well. I mean, it started out staged, but I think there's a lot of brainwashing. I can say from experience, from what I've seen.
No, I agree with you, and I think that's a lot of the social media. Pushes people one way or the other, which is I actually think it's a great thing that's happening because it's starting to put us in a hive mind. Yeah, I think that's an important thing to have going forward, especially when we realize we're not the only people in this universe. Yeah, we're going to have to act as one unit.